Hey everybody, Professor Snart checking in as we get closer and closer to the end of our course. So we have just finished up Unit 9, which was the final essay assignment, so all of the details in there. Also a number of sample essays to look at and just sort of to really immerse yourself in the kind of essay that we're going to be producing, which is very much like the first essay, a little bit longer, a couple more sources going on, but fairly similar in tone, scope, style, all that kind of stuff. Then we move into Unit 10, which has a couple of components. Maybe the most important, though, is the opportunity for you to meet with me in real time. So we can do it virtually through Skype or a couple of other applications I've got, or face-to-face. So one of the things that I've asked you to note when you sign up, which you do in Unit 10 for your conference time, is whether you plan to come in face-to-face, since if you're on campus already or can get here, and that's just a little bit easier, we can certainly do it that way, so you're not locked into the virtual meeting necessarily. Okay, so the other thing that was in Unit 9 is that a tentative I guess, statement of your topic for your final essay. So remember, one of the other differences, or maybe one of the main differences between this final essay and the one from before, is that instead of me giving you a topic or a set to choose from, you're developing your own. And so, as many people have discovered, it's actually a lot more challenging to develop your own, get the ball rolling. Sometimes you don't really have any ideas. Sometimes you have too many, which is a strange problem to have, but you're not sure like which fit with which and which to pursue and which don't really fit, and you kind of have to straighten all that stuff out or sort it out before you move very much further. So again, we're pretty early though in the writing process, so I understand where if in your topic you basically said like, I don't have a topic yet, or I have a bunch of ideas but I haven't picked one, you still got full points for the discussion board. It's not about, the points does not indicate that you have a perfect topic. It just means that you've thought a little bit about it, even if you haven't decided on one. So it's really important to understand that. So getting full points doesn't mean that I'm sort of giving you the thumbs up for your topic. In some cases, you didn't state one, which is okay. Other people have almost like a full-blown introduction written, but again, full points doesn't mean that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That's not the purpose of the discussion board. So ideally then, I can talk with you about your topic and your draft, wherever it's at, when we conference together, but in between now and then, which is actually a fair amount of time, it's really important for you to be in touch with me, especially if you have concerns about your topic, even if you have a really good idea, you just want to run it by me. If you're doing something comparative, you want to, maybe double check, does this comparison work? And remember, with something comparative, you really don't want to do a contrast essay. So you don't want to show me that two things that are different are different. That's not really surprising. The idea of a comparison essay is to show how things that on the surface are maybe different, like one's a play, one's a movie, one is contemporary, one is old, whatever. They appear sort of different, but if you dig below the surface, they have some really fundamental things in common, whether it's a character type, a certain kind of relationship, the way that the story plays out in terms of like the beginning, middle, end, that kind of thing. So that's the sort of comparison that's really interesting. So when you're thinking about comparison, be sure that you're really focusing on comparison, the things that are alike, and not contrast, the things that are different. The other note that I want to make is as people, especially if you've done some research on the play and started to think about Death of a Salesman, you run into this whole notion of the American dream. It's written about in so many sources, in books, in database stuff about the play. If you covered it in like high school or other classes, it may have really focused on this idea of the American dream, but it's an idea and a phrase that I want you to stay away from. Or let me rephrase that. It's a phrase that I want you to stay away from. It's not really the idea, but what I would push you to do if you've talked about, I want to cover the American dream and its effect on Willy Loman, okay, but don't use that phrase. It's like so overused and so sort of all-encompassing. It means so many things, it almost kind of means nothing. It's too abstract. So that doesn't necessarily change what you might have been doing for your essay, but it does mean, or what I'm going to challenge you to do, is to take that really big term, the American dream, and kind of narrow it down to something much more specific. So secondary sources will often say that, the play is about the American dream, Willy Loman's pursuit of misguided notions about the American dream, whatever. But let's be more specific. Is it his ideas about success? Is it his desire to be known, to be a kind of celebrity, to be famous, to be thought of as important? So all of these things are often part of that phrase, or they're implied, but let's just state that much more concisely and concretely. So again, if you were thinking about the American dream, I don't want to derail that topic, but I want you to be much more specific. And it's a fairly common way of reading the play, so that's why I'm making comment about that particular topic choice. Okay, so now it's, again, as always, but especially now, it's really important to be on top of due dates. We've just finished up Unit 9. We now have a fairly long period, partly for Thanksgiving, but just because now is primarily when you're refining the topic, doing the research, writing the essay. So the final essay you're submitting no later than Tuesday, December 9th, but remember, the ideal is for your conference time, which is part of Unit 10, to be a time when we can actually look at your essay, including that works cited, so I can point out problems or formatting issues then in that sort of ungraded setting before I'm looking at it for the final grade. So getting right down to the end of our course, be sure you're managing your time effectively, and then I will probably check in with everybody before Thanksgiving, but hopefully you're looking forward to a good little break and some holiday time as well. All right, so I will talk with everybody soon. Again, please don't hesitate to be in touch with me if you have course questions, or especially if you have specific final essay questions. All right, I'll see everyone soon.